My name, for those that don't know, is John Corvus, and I welcome you to Kali Sara Hamilton for its 13th year.
What we're doing here is we're lighting the sacred flame. First, it is called Yod. It is a community flame. It's what brings us the spark in our lives and the spark of the community around us, right? That's where we get stories being told, music being played, dances being performed, gossip as well, trade, commerce, love, disputes, challenges, all around the protective Yod. You always have to keep an eye on the flame. And I'm also saying that because of Hamilton fire prevention. We want to make sure that this is a magic moment so other people that do ritual fires can continue to do them without having to pay a lot of money. So we always have to keep an eye on Yod. Even though it's sacred, it has a mind of its own. And if we don't tend to it, it's Yod, she tends to get feisty, desire more fuel. The needs have to be there. You actually have to reciprocate the desire of warmth and of protection in exchange for the fuel to continue it on, and to say, don't touch that, that's not to be. So, using my magic lighter, we have backups too. I say to you, Yod, welcome. May you bring community and provide warmth and protection to the sacred event today. Goshmina Yod. When we have you around and circle around for these performers, may you give them the offerings of purification. Just not too much, because smoke does get into people's eyes. But let the purification and the blessings from you, Yod, inspire the flames of passion and artistry in the performers that are going to be doing their offerings of artistry to Kali Sara today. Goshme Yod. The second thing that we do is we light up. This is not to say smoking is good, this is because we have to light up for Kali Sara. Kali Sara, like I was explaining to some people, was asleep. So we can bring her here safely without ill or pain. And now we're waking her up. We're providing her warmth and protection with Yod. And now we bring this first mother, this one that brings safe harbor, to life for her party today. We use perfume, because who doesn't like a good scent, right? We also use the smoke or the incense, which is clove, which is really nice. Water that is actually from France, Sainte Marie de la Mer, from where she's venerated with her chapel for almost 700 years of recorded history. Later on, after we get a few performers in, you can do your offerings and do your reflections with Kali Sara. But right now, we just want to wake her up. And you know, when you get woken up first thing in the morning, you don't often like to have a lot of people around to talk to you about things. So we're just going to let her wake up. We're going to let her see the wonders that have been brought before her and see our first act, Eshe. And that's pretty much it. And of course, I do not say this should be for everyone, but we give her spiritus as well. So do not drink first thing in the morning, it's not really good. But in this case, she's an altar, she's an effigy, she can take it. And she's a saint, so who are we to argue? Wake up! Join us in this day, your day, Kali Sara, your 13th anniversary here on the shores of Lake Ontario. May you all be blessed today with the feeling of warmth, of compassion, and knowing that troubles can be rested here for the time that we are together. That safe harbor has been given forward. And through all your offerings of being here on this day, you will be blessed. From your mouth to her ears, may she hear all that you request, receive all that you offer, and love you without any barriers or boundaries. I say, Kali Sara, hear our prayers. One more time. Kali Sara, hear our prayers.
Kali Sara, hear our prayers.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Now, before we go on with the performance, just a couple notes. If you have flowers or anything of that nature, please hold on to them for now. We will be doing the offerings a little bit in between when we're doing our setups for the next acts and so forth. Second, there are candles for sale by donation. I'm not going to tell you to pay a certain price because some people need it more than others. There's buttons. And my mentor, one of the people that started with us, which is Dr. Ronald Lee, his CD is here for sale, again by donation. All money does not go in my pockets. All the money goes to events like this, to performers here, to renting the space, to getting the insurance, and making sure that we get these amazing videographers to show every moment. So, again, I welcome you. She welcomes you, and so does she. I'm between two amazing, fierce protectresses, and may you get the blessings that they are offering. We'll be setting up in about 10 minutes. We'll have Eshe. So, thank you all for your attention. We're about to get on with our first act, our first offering of artistry. Eshe. Eshe is the creative force behind the Steel City Slender, a dynamic multidisciplinary group and dance academy based at defining movement, dance, and Hamilton. I will let their dance and performance tell the rest of their story. So without further ado, I offer you Eshe. Now, you'll be talking throughout the day about why it's titled Shon Sapa Svatura. And those 3 words hold special significance to being the 13th year of Kali Sara Hamilton. I'll give you a clue for the first one. Shon means moon. And the moon has 13 in their years. There's 13 moons. Being the 13th Kali Sara, we want to honor that even though we called last year being the 12th the full circle, or the full cycle, there is always something else in the interplay. That what we think is over is not yet over. And what has already begun might be delayed a little bit. Just like when you're doing live performances, what you think will begin at this particular time has not begun. But it will all be started soon enough. So we are approaching a new moon on Monday. So we're going to be cleansing out, we're going to be purifying, we'll be strengthening ourselves starting on Monday. But I wanted to get an extra special start to strengthening up, getting ourselves and our ideas and intentions formulated. So that's part 1. Stay tuned to explain the other 2 parts of why Kali Sara Hamilton has such a title soon enough. But before we go on to the Canada Boys Band, for your listening pleasure, I'm going to say 3 more things that you won't have to hear my voice until a little later. First off, this is an excellent time to go up to do offerings to Kali Sara. I'll be putting up a couple of people to do offerings and so forth. Kali Sara has many ways to be venerated, with many different spiritualities and religions honor her. So if you see someone smoking and crying, do not be alarmed. And if you see people spraying perfume onto her, do not be alarmed. Be alarmed if there's something that really doesn't feel right in your stomach, because that's where the intuition lies. And what's right will always bring to you here. Second, if you want to donate to this event or to our performers, anytime throughout the performance or otherwise, please offer the money. Coins clinking makes good tambourine music and makes a nice accompaniment to music, especially when they're performing not only for Kali Sara, but for all of their pleasure. We do have the candles, we do have the CDs, and if you brought flowers, you can hold off to what you want to be offering, or you can also bring them to the water at the end of the day to put them in for yourself as well. It's up to you. And the third and final piece I'm going to say is stay tuned for more performers that are here for all community pleasure. Thank you.
My name is Michael. I'm from the Hamilton Romani community, and here we are with Canada Boys Band, which will be playing traditional Romani music. And I hope you guys all enjoy it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Woo!
aké me tu hlava, joj, me tu hlava. Keď na teba ja pozerám, slzy v očiach stále mám. Ty si moja Veronika, stále plní do únika. Keď na teba ja pozerám, slzy v očiach stále mám. Ty si moja Veronika, stále plní do únika.
Coming from Toronto, we would like to introduce North Star Belly Dance.
اللي في بالك اللي هو أنا قلبي اختارك قلبي اختارك وما صرت أدواء اليوم راك معايا غدوة يا ترى دي حوال الدنيا حلوة مرة غير انت غير انت غير انت بتخطي قلبي غير انت غير انت غير انت اللي سكن قلبي
Nična dukavlja smiro čivec Emo meljina labo O ivo namare Iman meso Pašo de Emo meljina labo O ivo namare Iman meso Pašo de Andavo niebo spretu matematika Basta pretu me delikera Narove Na bistere Iman meso Pašo de Narove Na bistere Potrzebujesz się łaska, nikomu dzieja nie da. Občas horká, občas sladká, ty si moja královna. A nikdo vie, že si ťa vážim, ostal som od Boha dám. Každý vie, že som šťastný, že zvolíme spolu pár. Život s tebou je nádherný láska. A keď to máš ťažké so mnou, ty neodchádzaš. Život s tebou je nádherný láska. A keď to máš ťažké so mnou, neodchádzaš.
Greetings and salutations, everyone. Now, we've just been listening to this band, which has been fantastic, but a lot of people are going, who are these people? They didn't get the memo, or they didn't hear the announcement. So I would like to introduce to you the Canada Boys Band. Right? Woo! And they've been delighting us with their music, wide variety. And now we would like to introduce Nicola. Correct? It's Nicola? Yes. Okay. Nicola is going to be accompanying them right now, and he's going to be doing a few pieces on the keyboard for listening pleasure. So, as we always love to add on to things, and if you haven't, you get a sandwich and it's one layer thick, it's like decent. But when you get a double-decker, it's better. And now we're going to put another on top. So it's going to be a very tasty combination of musicality today. So without any further introductions, let's continue to listen to the music. everyone. So we're almost at our end of performances. We're going to be having Kinga Zak coming back to do another performance with us. After that, we have Parmita Kar, who has arrived and is changing now, and she will be performing afterwards. And then it will be the processional. We'll be getting ready to do the walk to the water. I've been asked by a lot of the kids, so I just want to answer you right now. You do not have to go into the water yourselves. My son, Balin, and I are brave enough to go into the bitter cold, and we will be bringing Kali Sara into the water and out again. But we would love everyone that brought an instrument of any sort. We will be leading a charge with the drums to go down to the waters. So if you do have an instrument that's in your car or anything, just bring her out for it. This is an excellent opportunity right now to do your final blessings and offerings and prayers and moments with Kali Sara before the time arrives that we bring her forth into the waters. I do have Michael. Where did Michael go? Michael has a special announcement that he would like to do beforehand. But before he does, I want to make sure that anyone that has the cars behind the bathrooms, that is where Hamilton Conservation Authority likes to churn around their big vehicles. So we need that moved and relocated elsewhere. And while I have the opportunity for the last bit, as Kinga is going to be telling a story with her dance, that is the third word that is part of this evening's or this afternoon's title, which means stories. I want you to remember what you've seen today and tell the story back to your community so we can bring them here and we can interchange and we can bring in new dances, new performers, new entertainers, new vendors, because next year we have permission now for the vendors to be lined up and food tents, so you'll be fed and you'll be having a little bit of a bazaar that you can go and spend your money at as well and support local artists and designers. So tell these stories. Bring them out. But also remember your own story. The story that's in your blood. The story that is the litany of blood. So, Michael, you have a special announcement apparently?
So my name is Michael. I'm from the Hamilton community. I would like to take a moment to celebrate one of our community members. Come here, everybody. Come here, everybody. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear everyone. Happy birthday to you. How old are you? Words?
Hey!
सर्वमङ्गलमङ्गल्ये शिवे सर्वार्थसाधिके शरण्ये त्र्यम्बके गौरी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते। सृष्टिस्थितिविनाशानां शक्तिभूते सनातनी गुणाश्रये गुणमये नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते। शरणागतदीनार्त परित्राणपरायणे सर्वस्यार्ति हरे देवी नारायणी नमोऽस्तुते।
Another warm round of applause for Parmitakar. Three things. I promise only three. First off, for all those that participated in the celebrations as performers, as in musicians, as in volunteers, I would like to give you my heartfelt thanks, and I ask those that are the participants in another way of the performers, of the volunteers, of that, the ones that get to enjoy some, if not all, of the show. Please give a one round of applause for all that have come. So, second thing, as promised, I want to honor those of the past 12 years that, for one reason or another, cannot make it, whether it is through illness, injury, even death, but have come here of their own body, outside of their own bodies to be here. We've had people having some food, some drink, and if you feel the wind raising up, that's them talking right now. So, to all of our relations and your relations, and to the litany of blood of our ancestors, known and unknown, named and unnamed, that goes back before we had bodies. With every step that we take, we know that they have made those steps for us. For everything that we grasp to eat, drink, pray, love, laugh, they have given us the strength in our hands and have grabbed them before. I honor, appreciate, and utmost respect to all ancestors of all relations that have greeted us today for Kali Sara. Ashe, Stramos Obinansha. Now, my third thing. We'll be starting the processional momentarily. If you brought drums, if you brought jingly bits, if you brought anything in particular, please get them ready. We will meet you by the little pavilion. We're just doing the final touches to make sure the craft that Kali Sara on is ship worthy. All right? Thank you all. We will see you by the water. So, without further ado, we will bring Kali Sara to the waters so she can provide us safe passage and safe harbor. As we do so, be thoughtful, be mindful, understand that this is a give and take. She gives to us and she also takes from us. So be mindful and conscious of the exchange that you will provide. Just like the spirits that are around us right now, there's always a give and take. Just like the giving and taking of breath, you have to take it out of you and give it to the trees and bring it back in and forward. At times we will stop and you'll hear me say, Kali Sara, hear our prayers. And the response is, Kali Sara, hear our prayers. There'll be drumming, there'll be moving, but be thoughtful in your movement. Understand that every step that you've taken, the ancestors have already done it for you. And every step that you do take now, you do it because of your ancestors, because of your spirits, because of that which you hold sacred. So bring this as a sacred journey. Every step that we take in life is a sacred journey. So take this step right now and be conscious of it. All right? Without further ado. Elena, you ready? Okay. So, we'll be walking forward momentarily. Ready? Okay. Kali Sara, who walked and journeyed through the Indian subcontinent, across and over to France, to Saint Marie de la Mer, the same one who came from the Holy Land and rised up for France with the Marys, Mary Jacobin, Mary Salome, Mary Magdalene, in the boat. Kali Sara, the one that traveled across the waters to Sao Paulo, Onde, Chiquita, to Transvestia, to Brasilia, who always offered safe harbor for those who call her name. I say, Kali Sara, hear our prayers!
Kali Sara, hear our prayers!
For those who hold her, I give an offering and a touch. Have her ear for a moment. Yes. There's a little bit of meat in there. Start off with that. Yes, of course. We're now bringing her into the waters, where we'll be saying to many forms and to many spirits our offerings of thanks and gratitude, and to allow us to continue without the bumps, bruises, the ill, when we respect, no matter which spirituality we practice, but once we respect each other as a community, once we respect the world that is around us, once we respect those who have brought us to this point, the ancestors of blood and the ancestors of faith, we allow ourselves to become one with those same people, become one with the universe, and that calms our hearts, it calms our minds, and it calms our spirit, as well as it may or may not calm our physical. So, we're getting into water. Ready? How far do you go in the water? I'll be going deeper, but you'll be going up to your knees. That's okay. Stop right now. Tell me when you want to stop. Very good. To the litany of blood. Go. Son. To go. Thank you. Now everyone, we need 3 good ones. So ready? 1, 2, 3,
Kali Sara, hear our prayers. Kali Sara, hear our prayers. Kali Sara, hear our prayers.
One moment.
Hold on.
We'll get our shoe. Yep, we'll get your shoe in a moment. Okay.
Someone be quiet, be high.
Jean-Jerome, this is our part of carrying it. Final moment by the sea as we reflect upon coming back and returning into the beach. It's not the warmest of weather, but we persevere. And each day that we step forward and do our part with our community, we persevere, we endure, we love, because love can be an enduring struggle. But look at what's around us. Hearing the waves, chanting different the walks. As long as they're not in the sand, it's beautiful. As long as it's on your shoe. In a moment, we'll be continuing back up and going forward back to Kali Sara. I'd like to thank all the performers, professionals that we've won for. I'd like to thank all the drummers coming. I'd like to thank all for coming to the water with Kali Sara, and we shall return with Kali Sara in the care. I also like to take this moment while we're waiting for each new blessing.
Yes,
I'll also like to thank my son Galen, who's for the second year, approaching third year, and brought Kali Sara to the waters. So this is about blood, this is about tradition. So make your traditions alive. May Kali Sara bless you all. It just seems so that she's given us one in return. So this one will go back to the Kali Sara tribe. And we're about to pick up. We head forward.